It's so weird watching black people get mad at white people for starting functioning white communities. It's like, how happy we'd be to see black people start a functioning black community.
Oh, you want to know why black people don't just build their own community? We did. Over and over again. But you see, white America has destroyed them. Over and over again.
I see more white folks worried about that white-only town than black folks. Video after video, I'm seeing, oh my God, y'all, they're being a whites-only town in Arkansas. Did y'all see they're building that white-only town? What are we going to do? Nothing. We're not going to do a damn thing. Baby, Mother Nature will take its course. Black folks ain't worried about that shit, because 9 times out of 10, they don't believe in vaccination. They don't believe in doctors. They barely can cook.
Oh, let them build a white-only community in Arkansas. They'll find out. They'll find out how bored they are. I mean, without Mexican, indigenous, black, Asian influences, like, what are they even doing? Like just eating mayonnaise and listening to country music, I guess? Like, I'd be really worried about...
Are we seriously mad about people wanting to have a whites-only community? Let's not forget the fact that we always label things black own this and black own that. So a white man, Eric Arwal, wanted to establish his own town for his own people, white people. He wanted to control who he had as neighbors. His goal is to preserve the purity of his culture and traditions. So what are we mad for? Let's not forget, a couple years ago, Ashley Scott and Renee Walters got together and created their own community, their own black community. They wanted to create generational wealth and keep their legacy and culture. So I'm confused. What's the problem when the white people want to do it? And I know what you're going to say. You're going to try to bring up history and that victimization mentality. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. That happened many years ago. We're talking about now. We're not going to continue to bring up the past. At one point, we did have Black Wall Street. And yes, it was destroyed. However, we had the ability to rebuild and we didn't. We were defeated. So we're not going to continue to play the victim. This is a voluntary self-segregation, not a forced one. Get over it.
No black, no gay, and no Jewish people. That is the rule in this white-only town being built in Arkansas. Nope, this isn't 1950. It's happening right now in 2025 in the Ozarks. A group called Return to the Land has built what they proudly call a whites-only community on 160 acres in the Ozarks. They've got cabins, roads, fences, wells, community center, and even a private schoolhouse, all for people who pass their strict racial and cultural tests. To live there, you must be white with European ancestry, straight, Christian, and you cannot be black, Jewish, LGBTQ, or follow a non-European religion. They vet applicants with video interviews, and some are even asked to prove their ancestry. The founders, Eric Orwell and Peter Sears, say that they want to create a, quote, fortress for the white race. In their own words, you want a white nation, build a white town. Now, here's the thing. They're calling it a private membership association to dodge federal housing laws. Basically, they sell membership shares through a company called Wisdom Woods LLC. And rather than traditional deeds, which they claim makes them exempt from anti-discrimination laws like the Fair Housing Act. And shockingly, well, maybe not, there's already 40 people living on the site and hundreds more worldwide are applying. They say they have things like goat herding, homeschool programs, flute recitals, and even a white baby bounty, basically rewarding white females for having more children. And I saw one of their interviews, and even their dog is white. And get this, they're not stopping in Arkansas. They've already announced plans to expand into Missouri near Springfield. Now, civil rights groups like the NAACP and Anti-Defamation League and state officials are calling it what it is, a modern-day experiment in segregation, racism, and legal loopholes. Arkansas's Attorney General is investigating, but as of right now, this community is still operating, still growing, and still recruiting. This isn't just a hate group in the woods, you guys. It's a test case to see if they can build a future where civil rights laws don't apply, as long as they call it private. This is insane.
The white-only community has spurred mixed reactions, both from the whites and the blacks. Let's watch some of these.
Let's talk about the facts. Here's just a few. In 1921, black people built Tulsa, Oklahoma, better known as Black Wall Street, a thriving, wealthy district. White members burned it to the ground, killed about 300 people, actually dropped bombs on this city. In Rosewood, Florida, black families built their own town. White residents destroyed it in 1923, specifically over a lie. In Wilmington, North Carolina, in 1898, black people held political power. white supremacists staged a coup and burned the city to the ground. Here, they actually murdered the elected officials. In Acai, Florida in 1920, black residents tried to vote. They were massacred. The entire community destroyed. Oh, you think this is just a southern thing? In New York City, blacks actually built their own thriving community, specifically called Siena Village. The city demolished it in 1857, specifically to build what's better known as Central fucking Park. From Detroit to Philadelphia to Atlanta to Colfax to Slocum to Elaine, white American and white violence have constantly destroyed black communities over and over again. You see, and in 1950s and 60s, the government actually used urban renewal and highway construction to bulldoze black communities and neighborhoods. Specifically like Black Bottom, Treme, they called this bullshit progress. This was community erasure. So don't specifically ask why we don't build communities. Ask why white America keeps destroying them. African Americans are communal and build communities. We build them, you destroy them. We rise, you burn. We uplift, you erase. And now you want to act like we just didn't try hard enough. Fuck that. History remembers. And so do we. In the comments is a list of other communities that were not mentioned in this video. This list is not comprehensive. If you've got more, please add them. And that's been this episode of Acknowledging White History Month. Motherfuckers get on my goddamn nerves.
White-only communities. I said less than 72 hours ago, they are going to start shackling themselves in their own chains. And there's something that I feel like has been missed about this conversation. If we talk about the fascist on Jubilee, if we talk about the kooky guy in the Ozarks, and any number of commenters in my comment section, there's one thing I want you to notice. They are attention seeking. These are people looking for reactions. These are people looking for provocation because that is all that they know. The dude from the Ozarks looked at the reporter and was like, well, aren't you going to ask me if what I'm doing is wrong? Or something along those lines. Maybe even, well, do you think what I'm doing is wrong? Number one, foolish. They gave away their location. Number two, that is a provocateur. That is the only purpose. Other than they think that they can actually do this on their own, which in that case, they put themselves on their own plantation, which I find just comical as hell. In a country where you have the most privilege and most opportunity, this is what y'all do?
It sucks to be a white American. Now hold on, give me a chance, let me explain. I want you to think of the kind of person who would put on a White Lives Matter sticker on the back of their Ford pickup. Why do they do that? Is it all racism? Well, yeah. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that. White Americans basically have no culture. Not in the same way we see other people. And we white people, we know this inherently, and it scares us. We know we have our regional cultures. Our cities, our sports teams, and families all give us our regional culture, but being white basically means nothing. Or generally, at least nothing positive. White people throughout American history are almost always seen on the side of the oppressors. Not all white people, but most of us. And this sucks to learn. It's even harder to internalize. And it's why white people usually don't accept this, because it makes us feel a deep sense of guilt. I think it's why white people say nonsense like, I can't be racist, I have black friends. Sure, you probably don't see black people as objects, but you're refusing to accept the role our people have had in their oppression. That guilt we feel is our responsibility for the actions of our ancestors. It's why white people refuse to say that black people deserve reparation, because it admits our guilt. But black people deserve reparations. It just makes sense logically. You can sue someone for scratching your car, but black people can't sue the American government for the enslavement of their people. My people are arresting and deporting Mexican families from this country. Think about that. We are telling people that they are not allowed on the land we stole. Let's go a step further. White people stole a sacred land site from the people indigenous to this land and then carved 4 white people's faces on it, most of which were slave owners. I mean, Mount Rushmore is a place that we look at and we're like, oh, cool, giant faces. But to other people, it's a giant form of oppression. And admitting that and coming to terms with that sucks. We suck, dude. My people really and truly suck. Not all of us contributed to this oppression, but we are all a part of it. And this will mostly sound like virtue signaling. It will mostly sound like, look at how rough we are. But there is a reality to admitting this guilt and being honest with it. Because white people are afraid to do this. And we're afraid to admit it because my people are weak. White people are weak. We have power we have given ourselves and put down the cultures that are stronger than us because we know that we're weak. If white Americans were oppressed the same way black, native, or Mexican American people are, we would crack like glass. Our culture and identity as white people is so meaningless that we do everything in our power to keep other people down so that we don't break from having someone else on top. I think that's why you see white Americans championing white pride, not just out of ignorance or racism, but it's because they are scared. They're scared to come to terms with their guilt, scared to admit they're wrong, and terrified to acknowledge that we may have all the societal, economic, and political power, but as a people we are weak. But this isn't the way it has to be forever. I have hope that one day my people will finally take responsibility for what we have done. I hope that we'll collectively accept our role in the oppression of our non-white brothers and sisters and finally take action. And it will take the action of us white folks. It's not just non-white people that have to fight for their rights. It's us too fighting for them because our cross to bear is being born white. Being born with the skin color of the oppressors means that we have to fight to be nothing like them. We're not near that right now. America is in a tumultuous stage where it very much does not feel like white people are acknowledging where they went wrong. But I want to have hope, and I refuse to accept that one day justice won't prevail. Collectively, we can all shed the shadow of oppression and share this place together. And that's the message I want to end with. I want to be hopeful that one day oppression will be something taught in history class, something that we don't have to see ourselves in. That's what I hope. Anyway, I want to be optimistic in the end. Anyway, that's it. Thanks.
I just saw a video of this dude being like, yeah, black people are mad about that all-white town in Arkansas. They're so mad. That's one of the things I hate about social media, dude. Because the only people I've seen talk about this shit are non-black people, specifically other white people. They going on their little rants, they talking about it, rightfully so, because the shit crazy. But like, ain't no black people just mad, bro. It's like they'll see the white skin on the person who's mad about something and then will still say black people are so mad about this thing. And it's just so crazy how they're mad about this thing, bro. Please.
I see more white folks worried about that white only town than black folks. Video after video, I'm seeing, oh my God, y'all, they're being a whites only town in Arkansas. Did y'all see they're building that white only town? What are we gonna do? Nothing. We're not gonna do a damn thing. Baby, Mother Nature will take its course. Black folks ain't worried about that shit, because 9 times out of 10, they don't believe in vaccination. They don't believe in doctors. They barely can cook. The children gonna have father uncles. It's gonna become a cult. They're gonna find a passage in the Bible so one person can become the full leader. And baby, we're gonna have Waco all over again. Natural selection will take its course. Let them white folks build their shit. See, the thing is, they're building their stuff out of hate, no matter what they say. When black people built their community, it was for love. It was for protection. It was so we could have something to pass down. White folks have this whole country to pass down. They said they want to preserve their culture. I don't know what kind of culture they preserve. I saw them playing a flute. Hell, even the dog is white. Let them have that shit.